I'll do the countdown for the intro in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
However, we ran into a slight snag with our investigations. During the continued excavation of our base around the same time as all this was being discovered, some of the construction crew did in fact encounter a long-running tunnel. However, it was almost completely filled with ice. As the tunnel appeared to not be any sort of aqueduct in design, it suggests that at some point it was flooded, and then, during the planet freeze, the water within froze. After meeting with the primes, it was decided that there was not much point in investigating the tunnels further at this time due to the high likelihood of collapse and existing blockages, but that when funds were available, excavations into one of the chambers may be possible. So investigation turned to the signals themselves after that, and after much decoding and field research near the signal sources, I can safely say that indeed the signals appear to be coming from some sort of superhadron containment system, as was previously suspected. However, the containment protocol in use contains harmonics that are much different than those employed by our own technology, suggesting that if there's a mix of containment units that contain superhadrons of configurations that are much different than what we've ever seen. Alternatively, the system, after millions of years, is simply broken. But without being able to look at it directly, I can't tell which one is the correct answer. Still, all this suggests that there's still enough power to support such a system. And though the Kosambi civilization used solar collectors to a great deal, the power requirements for such a system is now exceeds the power output of the surviving solar panels in the region, at least the ones we know about. So there may be some sort of underground reactor as well. If that reactor is a fusion reactor, that suggests that it is being fed fuel from some source actively, which implies a hydrogen collection infrastructure buried somewhere on this planet, somewhere nearby. Which, given that there is no liquid water on the planet, begs some serious questions. There's a large complex some kilometers away that I think may offer up some answers to all this. I've put in a request for the primes to assemble a team and check it out. We'll see how things go.
Well.
Well.
Yeah.
So who are you guys? So introduce yourselves.
Van Velding, I'm playing Sam Cash, a detective from a filthy city by the bay.
Excellent.
I'm Peter, I'm playing Mal. I'm the resident tech person, hacker, just trying not to get into too much trouble, although that does tend to fail.
Excellent. Kepwin?
I'm Kepwin. I'm playing Simon Zander III. This is Gentleman Adventure British Explorer dude.
And Melik?
I am Alex Carter, ex-military private detective on a big case, but hanging out with these guys, just chilling and shooting the breeze and shooting cyborgs, usual kind of thing.
Getting into so much over your head here, it's pretty ridiculous.
Oh god, yeah, practically atmospheric at this point.
Yes. So I decided to start you guys off on the sort of the welcome players view here. Just sort of a general reminder of how big space is, and the little spaceship dealie right there is about where you are in the known galaxy. And this bit of the known galaxy is actually quite small compared to the entirety of the galaxy. But you are on some planet that's barely habited, and deep underground, in something that I, as far as my map layers are concerned, I've labeled the Lost World.
Yay!
Oh.
So,
It's an ocean.
let's say it's more of a lake. This room's not that big.
Lotion.
So I got a little bit of description for you guys if you're willing to listen.
Ooh.
Yep, go for it. Let's have fun.
As the light slowly comes up, more and more of the space you are in becomes visible. Distant walls, passageways to similar chambers, and massive overhead light panels exist above the ground. But on the ground is a forest. Sparse in this particular corner, but thick and seemingly impenetrable the further one goes away from the access hatch you came through. As previously noted, you see a number of large creatures nearby. They seem at the moment to be fairly inactive, as if they are only just starting to wake up. But even those that are most active seem disinterested in you as you skirt the wall. However, as you get a better feel of the layout of the space and compare it with the map the alien AI provided, it is clear that the way out of here requires you to at some point go through that forest. So, what's the game plan?
Oh boy.
The size of this enclosure, maybe miles or feet.
Let me double check something here.
Well, technically, all sizes can be measured in feet and miles. All of them, no matter how small or big. It just be.
So I will say that you estimate that from one end, from one wall to another in the chamber you are in presently, is about 1 kilometer, maybe a little more. So it's not huge, but it's still pretty big.
And I assume we're in the top left corner?
Yes, you are.
There's a
Little flag there.
I can see the bottom of the fly. I don't know if it's a hot dog or what. So
I'll move it down a little bit.
So, and is our exit the neon green stuff or the regular green stuff?
The neon green stuff down here. That's where the trees are sparser, but they are still forest. The darker green stuff is the thick forest, which is most of the area you see.
Well,
okay, so we'd have
I'm
to
out
know
of my element. Yeah, I'm going to leave this up to someone like Gepwin, who seems probably be more his thing than mine. I like cities and vehicles and, like, ready access to alcohol. This place is none of these things.
Well, there might be booze here somewhere.
Yeah, like some fruit on a tree that's kind of rotten.
There's probably a bar near the lake, yeah.
Maybe the lake is full of booze.
You know what? I doubt it. But hey, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
So before we get too far along here, I need Mal to make me a self-control roll.
Okay. And that's
You
against...
get 11?
And that would be against...
So you are able to resist your your impulses to be a trickster today. Yes. So you're not going to go pick a fight accidentally by trying to pull some tricks on people. Such that big cyborg that's with you.
But the only piece of tech in the area. Oh, that one would do.
At least you're not compulsed to. You can still try to do it if you like. But so I just wanted to get that sorted out. It may have been relevant today. Anywho, so what you guys doing? What you guys thinking?
So back of the napkin map says that even if we're going corner to corner, and we move at the very slow pace of 1 kilometer an hour, we would save only about 40 minutes by going through the center. So we should probably go around the edge and keep at least half of our back to a wall.
Well, we should look at the map and figure out where our exit actually is, because we're in a big square room with no idea where to go.
So the map is suggesting that the way to go is this way. However, the actual location, I'm not sure if you can see this, where it's supposed to go is down here. So it's basically you get the general feel from the layout, that there are identical rooms adjacent to this one, and there might be another one basically diagonal from the far corner. So conceivably you could go either direction, but that's the way it's sort of suggesting you could go.
So if we go clockwise, we're going to go through dense forest all the way. And if we go anti-clockwise, we could pass by a lake, which could have things drinking, and also by a lighter forest.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need water?
Do you?
Well, technically we're on a little river now. So.
In fact, have you guys eaten recently?
That was the follow-up question.
I mean, probably not. How long have we been in here?
You guys have gone back and forth through various tunnels, probably for 3 or 4 hours in total. They're fairly long, but they're not like infinitely long. So, and you guys had gotten to the spaceship, the crash ship, sometime in the early morning. The flight here wasn't that long, so I'd say it's probably the early afternoon as far as you guys' like internal clock goes.
Well, I've got no food on me. Since we voted last time not to eat the clone, I think.
Well, I have 5 days worth of food on me.
Oh, how many guys you got in your group here? You got you guys 4 player characters. You got the cyborg and you got the clone. Clone has his own food, which and he's just eaten recently. So,
what does the cyborg eat?
Well, you could ask her. I'm curious how you phrase the question.
Okay, so cyborgs, what do they eat? Do they eat things? Let's find out. Alejandra, do you need to eat?
I do need to eat. Why do you ask? Are you hungry?
We've been in here for a while, and just trying to take stock. Trying to figure out our timetable here. So do you need to eat, babies or plug in? Like some hyper bosons, anything like that?
She kind of gives you an annoyed look. I have my sustenance. Do not worry about me.
Alright. So,
what do you eat?
Pizza.
You guys don't want to know what I'm eating right now.
Whiskey.
In your still suit.
I'm in my space biosuit. This thing can keep me alive for 6 weeks, completely sealed. It has recycling of like 99% or something like that. So eventually it can't. But so yeah, I'm just staying here.
Yeah, you get this weird protein paste. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's got an odd consistency. Smells vaguely like cigarettes.
I suppose before we start burning through our emergency food, where's my numbers? Is anything here edible?
It's a very alien environment, so I'm going to say that you're not going to be fully 100% sure about anything as far as that sort of stuff goes. But you get a general vague sense that some of the insects like critters are probably quite edible, as well as some of the leaves because the bugs seem to like those ones.
Okay, I guess we can set up a look for grubs. I'm going to take the most promising looking leaf and rub it on my inner arm to give it a couple hours to see if it rashes.
All right, let's.
Since we aren't starving just now.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to say that eventually you'll discover that leaf actually is not poisonous at all, so you're going to be okay.
All right, who wants salad?
Ooh, salad.
Now, I will say that the trees that you see are more diverse than the ones I had the previous map from the other session. They come in various colors. Some of them are green, some of them are blue, some of them are red.
No purple.
No purple yet. But who knows what the future may bring.
Enough Mass Effect, I know that these trees are very important. Alright. in terms of which one we choose at the end of this.
If this is a Zelda game, we're going to have to do a tree-solving puzzle where we organize them by color.
Or find rocks that are that color, or animals that are matching colors, and sort of line them up with the trees or something.
So you go stand under this tree, you go stand under this tree, and you go stand under. Oh God, what are the trees doing to them?
A hole in the ground opens up, and it's a new dungeon.
Well, did anybody? We don't know if we have water. Is the water? Let's see. Do I have anything that I could test water?
Do you?
I didn't bring a water purifier. That was an oversight.
I have a filtration canteen.
All right.
Here.
Yeah.
So basically, we've got all everything we need for a picnic. Good.
Yeah. Well, we either need to we should fill up now, or we should follow the river, since we're not exactly sure how long we're going to be in here. Arguably, following the river has some pros and cons. There's going to be more animal life around the river, but generally rivers are clearer land that predators will avoid except for game trails.
I would suggest we fill up now, because you never know if you can get a chance later on, especially if we're attacked by any of these animals.
So but the question is, are we just ignoring the lake?
That'd be my preference.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think if we just head like the way that we could always ask the computer.
Yeah,
why
traditionally
the route.
Traditional lakes are usually surrounded by a lot of animals, so they're usually a good thing to avoid if you don't want to be a meal yourself. But we can always ask the computer, see if he knows.
Go clockwise. Alternative plans?
Well, choices are follow the river or follow the wall.
Or get lost in the forest.
I think follow the wall.
Well, given that the river on the northeast isn't that far away, it's only about a kilometre across, so we can get to that river again if we need to. We have a map that shows it, so we shouldn't get lost, hopefully.
That's true.
Yeah,
so
we can't get lost, really. Yeah.
Fill up, eat your leaves, so we don't have to use our emergency rations while there's food around, and skirt the wall.
All right. Sounds good.
So, any other complaints, instructions at this point?
Only because there's no sauce for these leaves, but yes, that's fine.
All right. So we'll say, so you're going, I guess, right then?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you follow the wall over to this location. As you sort of progress, you will generally get the feel, because you get sort of glimpses of some of the terrain as the ground you're on actually has some relief to it. It's not all just like a flat room and just there's trees here. There is actually hills and valleys and things like that. On the tops of the hills, you get a little bit more of a view of things. And in this corner, you can see a bit further down in the lower area down here. I'll go ahead and reveal a bit of that. You can see about this, as well as it keeps going further onward.
Wow,
Some distance. So you got into this corner. Any other changes of plans? It's about this point that Melisandre is going to reach into her various supplies and pull out what seems to be some sort of weird energy bar with a big gear on the side.
Well, okay then.
And she starts to eat it. And I will also say that in these sort of interface areas, the terrain does tend to be higher. So it does obscure some of what's going on behind those bits of territory.
Well, I'd say head over and scope it out.
Any objections?
Yep. Nope, let's go for it.
Nope.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm going to generally sort of defer in this situation, but yeah, sooner we're out of here, the better.
All right, so I'll say
we have
you
some
get
explorers, so.
So I'll say you get to about here, and I'll go ahead and reveal the next room, as well as some of what the other stuff you can kind of see, given you are on a bit higher terrain and a good advantage. see
We
all
want
the
to
way down some territory over here. You can also see kind of into this room as well.
That
And
looks
I
like
was
a savannah.
I'm actually going to say that's not a savanna. That seems to be some sort of like swampland.
Ooh, swamps.
Yeah, I didn't feel like drawing in all the little lakes and rivers, so.
You said that at the transfer point, the ground's a little higher.
Generally, yes.
We need to make a left turn up here. Is that right? Is that our plan? We can go down?
The instructions seem to be suggesting you go down further this way.
I think it's down here somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
So while we're on this elevated ground, this is a short shot between these two walls. I'd suggest that we just head due south until we hit that next corner, and then continue following the opposite
Yeah, I
wall.
like that.
Yeah,
agree.
if this is full high, you walk the ridge, then you go around the corner, and then continue over.
And when we get to here, we got high ground. We should be able to see our target anyway from there.
Yep.
Cool. In fact, I'll perhaps say that you might be able to see your target before you get to the far side. But unless there's any other objections, I'll start moving you.
Go for it.
Let's move out.
All right. I'm going to say you get to about here, and I'm going to need some sort of navigation roll. As you get into a thicket of trees. Who's leading you guys? There.
The chief navigator's leading us.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
It's not a great roll, but.
All right. What skill are you using here?
Let's see. I've got hiking and naturalist. Those are both a 9. Have anything better?
I'm going to say hiking is probably a good enough approximation. And since it was a fairly easy roll, I'm going to say you probably made it. So I'm going to reveal a couple things. First off, you can now see a bit more clearly what might be your destination, as well as what's beyond there. So as you get to about here, you get to a particularly high point of territory here, and I think I might have just saw a lightning strike out there. My window is right beyond my computer here, and there's the thunder. All right, so if I suddenly vanish on you, it's because I lost power. So as you get to the particular high point of the ridge, you can see very clearly in the middle of this chamber what appears to be a large shaft of a metallic-looking material. It looks heavily rusted, but it seems to be fairly intact. It goes from the forest below to the ceiling, and it's quite thick, like a big, massive pillar. But that's not all you see. Dun 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 dun. Dun. For in the chamber you are on the verge of entering, you see what looks to be a building over there.
Ooh.
No.
Oh. Well, I'd say we check out the lakeside cabin.
Well, yeah. If there's a possibility of life forms that can build a house, it could be useful just to know what's happening down here.
Yeah, if they can build a house, then one would assume that they have some kind of
It looks like it's
communication,
made of
strict intelligence.
native parts. It's not some external structure like the pillar.
At this distance, you can't quite tell what construction it's made out of. It seems maybe wood, maybe rock, maybe something else, but you need to get a little closer.
Okay. Is it like
Oh.
a hut, or is it like a bit more of a sensible structure? You know, what's the?
It seems like a bit more of a structure, and it's
So
just
it's about-
barely poking out from behind some trees.
Okay.
I want to get close enough we can scope it out with the omniviewers.
Yeah, I will get my infrared binoculars out with 32 times magnification.
Oh, I have 128.
God damn. God damn. Well, we're gonna check it out.
All right. So I'll give you maybe a little bit of the basic description of it. Despite interference of the trees, I will allow you to do a perception check, and depending on how much you sort of get from that, I'll give more description.
Perception vision.
Aha.
All right. So you made that by 1.
Let me see what mine gives me as well. Because I'm going to nosy this building. Hey, I made it by 6.
Very perceptive.
Oh my god, I flumped that roll.
So,
wow, that was terrible.
Building? What building?
Yeah,
you don't see any building.
a
We're
5
just like
and a
going,
6
Malik,
and
we're just
5.
like going, could you turn around? The building's behind you.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's why I couldn't say anything. Up, too late now.
So I do have to ask Peter, are you borrowing Gipwin's binoculars there?
No, I have my own 32 times. Unless he's
Okay.
actually going to let me have his 100, whatever it was.
Well, mine's technically a electro-optical televiewer, so more people can probably see it at once. It's like Star Wars binoculars with the screen.
Ah.
All right. So, in that case, let me. Where's my description for that? Oh no, I'm opening random things on my computer. All right. What you can tell, despite the trees, is that the building seems to be of a fairly simple construction and design. The walls appear to be made out of a carved stone, very closely interlocked together. So very definitely seems to be a lot of time was spent to construct this building. The stones individually are small, but they fit together pretty much perfectly. The walls are also fairly thick from the looks of it, and they are all set up under a roof made out of local woods. The wood is noticeable because of the red and blue streaks in it, so it's sort of a brownish blue-red sort of mess that helps it kind of blend in a bit with the various colors of the leaves in the area, but it is different enough that that's how you were able to spot it. There does not appear to be any sort of chimneys, but there are a couple of small holes in the roof near the one side of it. The roof is, I guess, I don't know, what do you call it when it's sort of high in the middle and goes off the sides, like slanted?
Collapsed.
So general house roof, I guess. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot adorning the exterior of it. But closer up, you could potentially get more of a vibe if there's anything close to the ground. But from this vantage point, it's just impossible to see it through the trees.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing moving.
As far as movement goes, you do get the general sense that there is probably that there seems to be some sort of large animals similar to the ones you passed earlier nearby, because you get sort of occasional glimpses of it, but it does not appear to be quite associated with the actual building.
Nice.
That's what you see.
Off we go.
Yeah, I say we approach it, and with caution, obviously, and see if there's anything around there that could be interesting. And
All right,
dangerous.
so here's a question: are you going to try to go straight there, or are you going to try to follow this little river?
I suppose following the river is probably better to get through a forest.
Yeah, also usually rivers are easier to navigate the banks of than thick forest. Also, unlikely to get lost because it goes right past the house. So.
All right. In that case, I'm going to do a roll. All right.
I'm genuinely afraid to ask how compasses work right now.
Sorry, Van, you're getting kind of quiet. What was that?
I said I'm genuinely too afraid to ask how compasses work here.
Give it a try. All right, so you're going to go along the river.
As long as it doesn't spin.
Yes, spin forever, as long as it's generally pointing in the same direction.
As long as it doesn't point in the same direction while you're turning, because then, that's useless as well.
All right, another lightning strike. Feel free to make another perception roll as you get closer in, if you so wish to do a little bit more scouting before you get too close. When we go to the actual map.
Oof.
Just passed.
All right. Peter, you had a pretty good roll previously, so I'm going to say that you don't notice anything new. Neither does Simon.
Quick question: the map we got from the AI, is it digital and update and accurate location, or is it just a sort of a general plot where now we're in this biome?
The AI appears to be generally giving a update, and it is basically saying that the path forward is straight south. So it seems to be suggesting go to this thing.
So if we were to get lost in the forest, the map would actually get us to where we're going still. I wasn't sure if it would be able to track us in this area as well.
Yeah. So you might be lost in the forest, but you know where you're going.
We know where we're going, we just don't know where we are.
Yes.
We know we're going, don't have to get there.
Alright. I have to make another roll. Okay. We are going to go to another map.
Yeah. Oh, fans! Oh, look at all the trees.
I didn't find any blue trees, so just imagine some of these are blue. Okay.
Oh, I like the blue trees especially.
Ooh, all the
blue trees. Yeah. So this is where our situation is, and I'm way too zoomed out right now. So down below is the building, and it seems to be dark inside. They're closer in now. You can see quite clearly that there's no sort of external adornments or decorations. Seems pretty standard on the outside as far as strange underground alien buildings are concerned.
There window, door, etc.
Oh, there does appear to be a door, and got to actually put the actual icon door on there, but let's just say that there's a big sort of wood-looking door here. That's why you cannot see inside. But the door seems a little small for the sort of general space, so you can see that it is indeed dark inside through the sort of the gaps.
Does the door look to be about the size of those other creatures, or does it look smaller than them?
That's a good point. Are you talking about the big alien creatures you saw earlier?
Yeah, the ones we've seen before in this biome. Mostly because I wonder if it's built by them or it's something else that lives with them.
I will say that the archway, the size of it is fairly tall, but it is smaller than the large creatures.
Okay, so it's something else that either is in here or wasn't here that built this. Okay. Or the other ones just ate a lot of food and got too big. Whichever.
By the way, does anyone have any sort of architecture skills?
Nope.
Okay. Figured I'd ask.
Okay, I want Valhandra to go behind a tree or something and try to be obscured. We want Alex to be in the bushes or something over here, somewhat obscure, or the door with his laser pistol, and then one of us needs to go up and knock.
Sure, I'll hide in a bush.
My character's a police officer. I know how to knock on doors.
Alright.
Bang! Come on with your hands up!
Our
In that
clone
case,
friend,
I will also obscure.
our clone friend's going to go hang out by Alex because he's furthest away, and
Alright, is there anything on the door? Like a
I have my
doorbell
trank
or
darts loaded.
a knocker?
Pistol ready.
So there's not any sort of knocker or wreath. Closer in, give me a perception roll.
Seems kind of bad. My perception is 13.
All right. You think that maybe at one point there was a something written here in some sort of language, but it's so worn, as far as general, exposure to the elements, which is kind of a peculiar, sort of thought in this sort of environment. That it seems to be unintelligible. It's sort of a like a small phrase is written somewhere in the middle of the door. But other than that, the door seems fine. You sort of can listen a little bit, and there does not appear to be any activity on the inside, and there does not appear to be any movement from what you can see. But there's still the whole door thing in the way.
All right. I'll just knock on it fairly softly, and then just kind of keep knocking on it louder.
There is no response.
Okay. After it gets like decently loud, I'm not going to bang on this thing. I'm going to try to open it.
All right. The latch is quite simple. You can open it easily, and I shall reveal the interior, and then give you a little description thingamajig.
I should have moved there for support if anything happens.
Ta-da!
Ooh, temple.
Ooh.
I got a description if you want to hear it.
Nah. Yeah, go on, obviously.
The space is open for the most part, but at the far end sits something akin to an altar. The altar is flanked by two statues. The statues are of some semi-humanoid creature with 3 arms and 3 legs. Both are holding large platters with what appears to be burnt wood within. On the altar is a sheet of some sort of leather-like material.
You're going to wave everybody up and just let them know there's no one inside.
I'm going to keep a lookout elsewhere, basically to the north, the west and east, just to see if there's anybody kind of approaching us now that we've disturbed the sacred temple.
Alright.
Don't even know what's inside this place.
Man, I'm archaeologing.
Alright.
I need to up my archaeology skill.
You're better than nothing, so. Our clone friend will hang outside because he's a little freaked out by all this, and his expertise is not archaeology. So what was your? How'd you make it by?
Missed it by 1.
All right. So I will give you this. This place does not seem super old. It's old, but it's not millions of years old. It's maybe hundreds at most.
Huh.
Alright, what beyond the altar?
Alright, if you go ahead and approach, you can have a look at it. The material has a pictographic depiction of strange creatures, trees, and what appears to be some sort of bird-like creature. There does not appear to be a general flow to the pictograms or any other text suggesting meaning. However, you can see easily that they are also very old, perhaps a few hundred years old. But not, of course, millions of years old.
100-year-old pictogram. Why is this room so small?
Good question.
Can we try and run the pictograms through the translation and see if they come up with anything?
You can give it a try.
Because it might not, but you never know. These sort of things usually based on something, aren't they? So.
No, I'm just going to look at one of the statues.
Doop. And that would be computer operation, I'm guessing. So that's passed by 2. I've got the program itself. We've got from their the drone things earlier.
So I'm going to say that your translation program has no idea what's going on with this.
Ooh, so it's something completely new. About. Nice.
I'm thinking, I mean, it's been millions of years, yeah. That's plenty of time for another intelligent species, new languages, but also potentially another species that was already quite intelligent.
Yeah. But
now has become, because the difference is, we go back a million years, what did humans look like, It's completely different. We were basically just primates, we weren't even banging rocks together a million years ago. So, yeah, you could, feasibly in a million years, a new species could have evolved with some intelligence.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that there's how many languages on this planet already, so it's entirely feasible that when isolated from everything else, a new language would evolve with a new species potentially.
Yeah.
What's the scale on the altar and statues and chairs? Are they like humanoid sized?
I forgot to change my scale here. Um, we'll say each square is about a meter. So ta-da. So these guys, are the statues are definitely bigger than you guys are, but you're not quite sure if that means that that's actually the size of the beings that created these, or that they're exaggerated, as statues sometimes are. As far as like the benches, they seem to be sort of on scale with you, so it might suggest that whatever creatures built this place might be of similar sort of size to humans, maybe.
The statues, do they look like animals or bipedal? Or are they more just like random shapes?
The statues do look like some sort of alien creatures. They look vaguely similar to the ones you saw, but the face is much more directed sort of horizontally as opposed to up. They have a few sets of eyes. There's the three limbs thing going on here, and they seem almost like something you'd see in like a weird sci-fi movie, which is the future, which is a little strange for sci-fi movies to be sort of super popular all the time, but they still are.
Sci-fi will always be popular even in the future.
Yes. Oh, man, Twitch, why are you freaking out on me?
All right, everybody get in here and search. We need to find the other door.
See anything that looks like a lever? Don't just pull it randomly. We've all seen.
Malik?
Yeah.
Hang out for a moment.
Oh, out?
Yes.
Okay.
You're about to go in. Give me another perception roll.
I will give you a good perception roll. Vision based?
Yes.
So I do have different vision than I do everything else.
Well, actually, technically both, but
Yeah. Well, I passed vision by 2, and regular stuff would have been by 1.
All right. You think one of those large creatures is heading your general direction?
Whereabouts?
Probably from the north. That's where you saw the one recently, and that's where you sort of glanced, and it seems to be sort of generally wandering through the trees in this general direction.
Does it look like it's a beeline in this direction, or just randomly just ambling?
It's not entirely clear at the moment. It seems to be sort of just plodding along.
Okay, I'm gonna poke my head through the door, and I'm gonna say to everyone, guys, we may have company to the north.
Well, I'd say we get everyone inside and close the door and search in here until the thing goes.
Plus, we don't think it can fit through the door anyway, so we should hopefully be safe in here. If not, we've got a bottleneck to fire at, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep a lookout. I'm gonna take cover behind the wall around the door and just keep a lookout. Watch it.
I'm gonna go ahead and put him on the map.
Alright.
Ugly.
Should probably close the door and keep a lookout through the little cracks and things.
Alright. It kind of approaches this clearing, goes over to this particularly red tree over here, and seems to start eating.
Oh, herbivores. Or omnivores.
Alright. So you're in the temple. What you doing?
Alright, one of our 2 cops needs to use a search skill in here because this room is too small.
I think we should both do a search.
Fair enough. My search is 13.
Let's make it by 3.
Would it be? Would it be? I suppose it would be. I'm just trying to think which kind of swarm bots to use. I've got my forensic bots, but I've also got the security bots. No, it's not. No, my security bots, which could also do. They can do search. They have their own like search mechanism, but I think it's more to do with searching people for things that they've hidden.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pull out some forensic-y things. It'll gather some kind of evidence of some sort. So I'm gonna do the forensic bots as well. I'll just do the forensic bots.
Okay.
Because why the hell not? Okay, so I'm gonna do. Can I do a forensics rolls with the bots and then just a search as well?
Give me both rolls.
Okay. Forensics with bots. Because you never know what might turn out.
That's pretty good.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, worryingly good. Oh wow, and even that without any bonuses was pretty good. So yeah, and just normal searching while the forensics bots kind of gather some sort of information from the area.
So we'll start with Cash. So Cash, you locate what seems to be a small pile, and sort of, kind of seemingly maybe hidden under one of the benches, of what seems to be half-eaten bugs. Like something's been nibbling on them and leaving, parts of their shells and things like that. Once the meaty bits have been extracted here.
So it's like the alien equivalent of gum under the sea, basically.
A little bit, and they seem to be fairly recent, from as best you can tell, because they've not decayed off to dust or gotten completely dispersed. Melik, for your own searching, you find maybe not something exactly the same, but what appears to be a small puddle of something elsewhere in the room. You're not quite sure what the liquid is, but you're pretty sure it's not water.
All right.
As far as your forensic bots go, they find all sorts of DNA. They have no idea what to make of it.
Cool.
all they're really saying is, it's not human?
yeah, that's fair enough.
But they are so that pretty much clears up if this is like some random humans ended up down here. So it doesn't seem to be the case. But it also sort of gets a general idea that there has been someone in here in the last 24 hours.
Some alien.
It's not clear if it was, say, just a random animal or something a little bit more intelligent. It has no way to determine that, but something has been in here. And considering that the door was closed when you guys showed up, ...
So either it left and closed the door, or it went somewhere else in this building, because like Simon keeps saying, it's too small as this room for the building.
But I will also say that you didn't find any secret passages.
Did we find any not so secret passages that were blatantly obvious we just didn't see them?
Well, there's the door out, but that's about it. I will say at this point that there is actually no secret passages here. I decided.
My audio cut out. Did I miss anything in terms of my search?
Your search, you found a bunch of chewed-on bug parts in a pile under one of the benches.
Are plug parts?
Melik found a strange puddle, and evidence that there's been something in the room within the last day.
I still don't know if I caught all that, but if there's nothing else on the inside, we should probably see if we can check the outside for additional things.
Feel free. You go talk to the big creature out there.
All right, give me one more perception rolls as you guys are sort of thinking about all this. Everyone.
Now I'm perceptive.
I am not perceptive.
And this would be hearing if there's any question. I'm going to have Alejandro roll and Mr. Clone Guy roll. What are their stats? She's oddly not perceptive. Holy smokes. I think our Clone Guy has the best perception of anybody here.
Damn.
I gave him a pretty high stat there. So I'll say he's the one that says, guys, I think there's something coming.
Oh, okay.
What, the same thing or something new?
Something different.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure my pistol's ready, and I'm gonna go to him and see what he can see.
He's gonna sort of poke his, eyes up to one of the cracks of the door. He's gonna look out, and he goes wide-eyed and backs up. There's something pink out there.
I'm gonna have a little look through the hole and get my pistol ready, and yeah.
All right,
I don't like how terrified he is.
Give me a perception roll.
To be fair, he's always been scared, though.
Yeah, that is very true. Oh, nice, made it by 5. Good.
All right,
Good.
and I guess I should probably reveal this.
It's got.
Aww.
It's kind of in the bushes. Seems to have come same general direction as the big critter. And is kind of seemingly maybe trying to use this cover as it sort of inspects what's going on over here.
So it's looking at the building rather than the big herbivore, omnivore thing.
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm just gonna whisper very quietly to everybody what's going on.
I think we should yell. Like we can hide in here. We've got a very defensible position. We can see if it's interested in communicating well before it comes in here and just gets surprised and attacks us no matter what because we startled it.
Are any of us fluent in long-descended alien gibberish?
Well, you do have a computer pad with a connected AI to it.
We can give it a try, although the text down here isn't matching, so hopefully it's got a similar-ish language. No, let's give the pad an idea anyway.
Yeah, ask the AI if it can universal translator for us.
I need to listen and perceive a language sufficient amount of time in order to translate. It took me a while to figure out your language after all.
And we do talk
with any
a lot.
luck, this language will be more similar to your original.
We could always ask it to try and broadcast a message in the original language in hopes that the creature would potentially understand it, but to some kind of base degree.
Yes. How do you say hello?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll peek out the cracks in the door. Is the thing moving closer?
I'm going to say it's very slowly creeping along. It seems to be trying to be stealthy.
I have some questions. Firstly, does it appear to be armed or armored or carrying tools or clothes, wearing clothes, that kind of thing?
At this point, I'm going to say you can get a little bit of the description. The creatures are tall and are of a generally bright pink coloration. Despite their long, lanky builds, their heads don't much separate from their shoulders, as they don't seem to have a flexible neck at all. They have 3 arms, 3 legs, and seem to be wearing only a collection of decorative items, including jewelry, and this one seems to be carrying some sort of weapon as well. It seems to be some sort of primitive blade. It also seems to have some sort of shield-like buckler thing on its arm. It is crouched down, trying to be hidden in the brush, and doing an okay job at it, but you guys are pretty perceptive, so.
Okay, I'm going to prep my sonic stun pistol instead of my heavy laser.
Does it look like it's related to the statues?
I'll say it looks fairly similar.
Okay, so
Not
it's either
exact,
related
but
to the creatures that made it, or it was something they admire. So, most likely, based on the door size, it suggests it probably is related to the ones that built it.
Well, this thing's using tools, so.
Yeah, so it's intelligent enough to do tools.
Alright.
I think jewelry as well. Jewelry is a very interesting, because it has no practical purpose, jewelry. So that does show a sign of an advanced intelligence.
If everyone's prepped, Go to the door and as loud as I can with weird alien language. Yep.
The creature steps forward a little bit more and then stops as you speak.
I guess I'll repeat it.
Looks around, and then when you repeat it, it looks straight at the door. And then lets out a loud sound similar to wahoo!
Yeah, keep doing that. Computer, listen, tell us anything. Sound familiar?
I do not know this language. I will to listen.
Maybe repeat back what he just said. I mean, it may be a bit
good
confusing.
idea.
Can we like record it and
We can just yell, you.
Well, the tablet tries to make the sound back right at it, and this causes the creature to. How would it react with this? It looks a little confused, but then it kind of
probably
stands up a little more straight, and actually comes out of cover and walks forward a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then says at the door, yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem to have any ranged weapons.
Yeah, wait till it gets a load of hours. If it causes us issues.
Well, everybody else has stunned things out. I'll sling my gun back so I look non-threatening and have my hands showing and open the door a bit so that we can see each other.
Yeah, he can't really see us anyway, so he shouldn't be too threatened by us. He only sees one person. So.
Right. The clone and the giant cyborg will stand aside so they're not. So you open the door. The alien sees you, and you see it directly. And I think both of you need fright checks.
How do I do that?
Give me a will roll.
Oh, bugger.
I'm going to go ahead and...
My fright check's pretty good, actually, because I've got bonuses to my fright check. Got combat reflexes. It's one of my most expensive skills.
Well, I failed.
Confronted with it so directly, I also need to give it a fright check.
Basically, you both leap out of your skin.
The sight of each other is a little much. In fact, so it fails, and you, where are you? There you are. You fail by a little bit more than it. So I'm not going to say it's like debilitating fright check, which there are those in the game, but the general, both of you feel physically shaken by this sort of encounter. It's like, what the hell? What? My brain doesn't quite process this fully. But I will say that it does not immediately
to roll to see if I have flashbacks.
That's a good point.
If I failed a fright check.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Flashbacks. Where is your dealio there? Flashbacks. So there will be. I'm gonna go ahead and just roll for you. Roll 2d6. You are for the next 6 seconds. You're going to be enjoying some minor penalties as you have some flashbacks to a time where you met some folks that were well off the grid and were a bit different than your standard random colonists you ran into occasionally in your previous line of work. Crazy body mods, this, that, the other thing, and you were there for perhaps not so good purposes, and so you were thinking about those dark days in your past.
I feel like since this is an approximation of Simon's PTSD, I need to see if it combines with my impulsive in a bad way.
All right, go for it.
Oh, good, it doesn't. I don't try to shoot it.
I'm glad about that.
So you have a nervous moment. Creature then composes itself slightly.
I'm gonna like whisper to Gepard and be like, "Hey, you okay, man? You you okay?" I'm gonna keep an eye on the creature, but see if he's alright. Because I could probably see that he's been, affected by this.
Well, since I kept my composure with the impulse, I'll be fine. I just need it's more than I expected.
As you are speaking, it says in its own language,
Well, I'm sorry, we don't understand each other yet, but if we keep talking, we'll be able to soon.
Hop. A perception check.
Okay.
Nope, I failed, and I probably still have penalty.
Fight or generic?
We'll say either one.
Well, I'll roll it, and I pass. Actually, technically, that would have passed either.
Okay. So, Alex, and Mal and Cash, you guys give me perception rolls as well.
Should switch to.
Damn, Peter.
I see everything.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, then. It's no real point here, and because my good enough. Going to go ahead and bring out the rest of the dudes. Ta-da!
Oh, I'm very glad I didn't shoot him.
Yeah. So there is emerging from the brush some more dudes.
Do they look hostile, aggressive? What do they look like?
They seem confused, but they're also aliens, so it's a little hard to tell.
But if they're coming out of cover, that usually means that they're not trying to hide themselves anymore, which is usually a good sign in these situations.
So they have some sort of. So they have.
The one in front seems to have a. The others seem more spear-like.
Okay, I'm just going to double check something before I decide whether I'm about to do what I'm about to do. I'm not really a people. I'm not first encounter material. I really am not. I'm not.
It's more Simon's business.
Yeah, potentially, but he seems to be maybe having a moment. I don't know. Where the hell? It's in my backpack. Surely it's in my backpack. I don't know.
We just shove the clone out the door and see what happens.
I feel confident-ish that my high-tech biosuit, with its bonuses to cutting and slashing, was probably enough to handle an attack if need be. I think so anyway. So I'm actually gonna just kind of like sort of holster my pistol. And say to Getwin, do we have any advice for this sort of first contact situation? What do we do here?
Are they holding their weapons threateningly?
They seem to be at the ready, but they're not sort of trying to point them at you like, yeah, I'm going to stab you sort of stuff.
Kind of like we are, so they're prepped and ready, but not.
They revealed themselves. I feel like everyone who looks human should come somewhere they can see us. Maybe wait on the battle bot.
We probably all look really weird anyway.
Yeah, but at least we all look self-similar.
Yeah. So you're in front, Malin behind, and if you start moving to the door, it's going to back up, by the way. So.
Oh, no, I'm not going to move any closer to it unless it moves closer to me.
All right. It's going to say some other random stuff, and you're not going to bother going through every detail there. Plus, I'll run out of weird sounds to make.
Yeah,
you mean you haven't developed an entire new language, Essex, for this particular encounter? You haven't actually done it?
No, I didn't see much of a point. Since you got the magical tablet of AI there. So.
I mean, if the
Yeah.
guys
We
if the
should
guys are
just
static,
keep
and make them Klingon.
talking calmly until the AI has figured out their language.
It figured out ours pretty quick.
So I think at this point, a reaction roll in total might be a good idea. Who wants to roll it? Gepwin, you're probably the best person to do such. Things like charisma and sex appeal are not going to work on this because they are just too evident.
Damn it! I have charisma too.
Ooh, that's not good.
Actually, rolling high on reaction roll is generally a good thing. So.
Oh, okay.
The only time that's good. Like, yeah, this one table of terrible things. Yeah, roll high and your head explodes. No, for reaction tables, you get a neutral reaction. Where would be good bit here? So not a. All right. So it is a potential combat situation. All right. So the overall reaction is neutral. So they do not seem to be inclined to attack. As they sort of watch you guys sort of banter about a bit. But they do seem to be, I guess, curious is maybe the best word, but they are also hesitant to try to approach you guys directly.
Have we pretty much determined that the biology of this area is sort of compatible with our biology? Obviously, the atmosphere is equally breathable, otherwise everyone but me would be dead.
We know the food's there.
The food seems to be at least partly compatible.
And the water's clean, so basics should be.
I'm just thinking, should I kind of sit down, pop my helmet off, and actually start eating, and then offering them to eat with me, sort of thing? You know what I mean? Like a food offering kind of thing is normally a peace thing. I mean, obviously their culture might be, how dare you suggest that we are incapable of hunting our own food by giving us free food? This is a grave insult in our culture. Die, die interlopers.
If we need to, I have a shiny thing I could offer them, but we should see how close the frickin' computer is, because if we can actually talk, then all of the pantomime stuff would be redundant.
Well, the computer doesn't seem to be translating things at this point. So, when it's going to be able to do that is completely unknown to you.
So
Alright,
basically,
well,
the food situation would be the good one then.
I suppose at least we should. Well, I could use the electric test sausage.
Electric test sausage. Yeah, I mean, you could. It's whatever the hell it is. Do they look like they've got kind of bitey, flesh-tearing type kind of teeth? Or, I mean...
So what happens is...
Cash.
Yeah, it's one of the things where Simon offers out a electric test sausage. He's offered up. They find out they're actually herbivores, and then the war begins.
Yeah, it's like, how dare you offer us the flesh of the dead? This is a grave insult to our culture. Die, intruders!
I'm debating whether I should give them that sausage that we threw down the hallway last episode, or the alien paperweight that I picked up last episode.
Well, I'm gathering the alien paperweight would be like modern. It's like that's their modern. It's the other species, like the ancient race that seems to have died out. These, it would suggest, are not them, or it's them that have regressed and forgotten all their tech, or
so they'd either see it as like an ancient artifact, a god thing, or a shiny rock.
Sure, maybe they've got jewelry, so they appreciate pretty things. Hey, it might be worth doing.
So I will remind. It's eating leaves. It's generally kind of ambivalent to the critters running around it. I will remind that Cash did find the pile of insects. All arranged in a small pile, like someone is trying to hide their leavings. So they might be, if this is their temple, this is sort of general follow through, that they might be at least interested in eating the insect-like creatures around here.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Ooh, what was that liquid? Did I ever determine what that liquid was? Did my forensic bots give me any idea as to what that was?
There was maybe some hint that it was either some sort of bodily secretion.
Ugh.
On the floor of the temple, yeah.
Ew. Well, at least my biosuit's not been opened yet while I've been here.
Yes.
Definitely not going to get pregnant.
It was definitely something. Hopefully, spit here. A lot.
Well, hopefully.
Do we have any of the salad that we made that Simon made left over that we could offer them? Because their own food from their own environment might be a better option if we have something.
Well, there's leaves everywhere.
Yeah, but it's not being processed. It's rather than here's a bush, it's more like here's something we made.
Well, I don't think that's a bad idea. So I'll get out that sausage that I have, and I'll break off a little bit and eat some of it theatrically and put it on one of the leaves we've got, and then step out slightly and put it down and step back.
All right. They approach a little bit, kind of perplexed or amused by this, perhaps. The one that with the buckler does say some more things, steps forward, and sort of uses his blade to sort of scoot the sausage closer, and then he skewers it with the blade, and then sort of inspects the sausage, gives it a sniff, and then his maw opens up, and this sort of three-pronged tongue comes out and licks at the sausage.
Oh, weird. They seem to have three of everything. I bet they're amazingly popular with the ladies.
Well, I will say that they don't seem to be wearing much clothing, but you're not quite sure where their dangly parts might be, if any. Silence.
Is that the idea, or is that an awkward silence?
Well, all we can particularly do at this point is see if they like the food and keep them talking until we try to get a translation or some sort of pantomiming going.
It seems to speak something to its compatriots, and then tries to nibble on the sausage.
Yay.
Let's see if it likes it.
Oh god, let's see if it dies instantly from some kind of bizarre protein imbalance or something.
So we either murder it, give it something disgusting, or it loves us now because we got good food.
All right, it makes its health roll. It seems kind of like you have no idea how to read its expressions, but its sort of general body language is sort of like, oh, okay.
Miscellaneous.
It's no strong feelings one way or it just backs up, and then it raises its middle arm and sort of motions you closer.
Hi, I have a bladed armor. I can take a couple of spear thrusts.
I will
Walk
follow
out
him
there
behind
slowly.
you, casually. I mean, I've been watching, so they've seen my head, but they might be a little bit kind of like, he's wearing an awful lot of more things.
Right. Once you sort of emerge, the others are getting a better view of you, and they're maybe having a reaction, but they're not freaking out. That's good. They seem uneasy, but they're not going to try to stab you. The one that seems to be the leader of this group starts babbling on about some stuff and sort of points off in this general direction over here. Then it's, sort of waves its hand at you in a sort of almost talk to the hand sort of thing, but you have no idea what that means for the aliens. Then it does some random pointings at the ground. Then it babbles about some other stuff, and then motions at the big creature right behind it. The large creature actually at this point reaches one of its arms over and starts just sort of touching the top of the head of the this guy over here. The guy doesn't seem to mind.
Yeah, so it's like, kind of like the equivalent of a cow or something.
It's like, hey, you're here. Why are you standing so close to me? I'm going to touch you now.
Can taste you. Are you edible? No, you're not edible.
Like, hey, you're not my food. Well, what's up?
What's up with that?
And it kind of goes like this for a little while, and you know, it's not exactly clear what it's trying to communicate most of the time, but occasionally it sort of maybe suggests something is in a direction, but you're not sure what it's even trying to say with that.
I'm going to ask the AI if it's got any clues yet on the translation.
I believe they are telling you about this temple. They seem confused as to how you appeared within.
I guess I'll point to all of us and point to the direction we came from and make some, like, we traveled motions.
Sort of like walking motion with your fingers sort of thing.
Yeah. But maybe with 3 fingers, however they're walking. I don't know.
They babble on for a little bit longer. The AI kind of comes back with, they think that you came from that direction over there, I believe. They are confused of how they did not know you lived there. They also seem to be under the impression that you are trees.
Trees.
Are we significantly taller than they are?
No, they're actually slightly taller than you, but you know, this might be a mix up with the communication, or some other factor might be causing this. Causing this sort of interpretation.
Does the computer know what's over there?
Well, what's over there is where where you guys are pointing, and the computer does not give you any information you don't already have.
What about where they were pointing? Any information from that direction originally? Because they pointed over here, didn't they?
Yeah, they basically the way opposite from where you came. The AI says more environmental chambers.
I don't know how to pantomime an elevator.
Hands sort of straight and then going up and down.
Or just point to us and then point to the sky. You know what I mean? Because
Came from above.
They probably live here. Yeah, exactly.
All right. They've not run out of patience yet, by the way. They're getting there, but not there yet.
Well, at some point we're going to have to leave because they're not going to understand us and we can't stay in here forever.
So they babble on for a little bit longer, and the AI comes back with, they are discussing now that you may be some sort of spirits.
If we can understand them, can we translate a message to them?
It will be unreliable for being, but I can attempt.
Should we keep the message simple if we can do that? What do you think? Any good message if you can send to them, or should we keep trying a bit more pantomime?
I don't know. I'm not sure what would be useful. Their language probably does not have an easy way to communicate the surface if they all live in this environmental area.
We should probably just stick to telling them that we're
From above.
passing through from far away, and we will probably not be coming back through again.
Yeah. Can we try to tell them that we're travelers going to the big pillar?
I will attempt to communicate that. So it's time for the AI to roll.
Oh God. That's an average. No, that's an average roll. That's all right.
It's an average roll, yeah. And the AI is pretty smart, so it makes some of the strange language that they're doing, and the creatures sort of like straighten up a little bit. It's like we didn't expect to hear that, but okay. And they sort of look at each other, and then look at who specifically is holding the tablet, by the way.
That would generally be me.
All right. They sort of like crane their heads to try to look at you, and they sort of the one next to the leader sort of points at you, and then says something, and the AI says, "I think they want to talk to you now."
Fair enough.
I'm just gonna kind of step to the one side a little bit, and just let you go forward and be the spokesperson of the party. It's all up to you now.
Yeah, this
all
will
the
end well.
responsibility is up to you.
And that is how the war began.
It'll be a very short war, I think.
Well, you only know about 5 of these things. We're in a entire forest of them.
The clone kind of sneaks up behind you, curious but not wanting to be in front. Melandra's fine, but hanging out in back. She
Did the clones have any idea that there was life here?
He says, "We had no idea. We thought the planet was dead, like super dead."
So does the alien say anything now we've approached?
Oh, I just didn't you say? I'd kind of forgotten. Aren't these like the first ever seemingly sentient alien life forms that humanity has ever encountered?
That we didn't also destroy.
I'll say there were mentions of
so
some
far.
Before the.
Yeah, give it time. Give it time. I've got a heavy laser pistol and an awful lot of C cells.
And we do have a track record with aliens, so.
But it is the first intelligent alien life humanity within the last 1,000 years.
This is cool. This is like really, really monumental. I'm going to name this species. I want to give them a name. It'll be amazing. They'll actually. Then again, I think Getwin's the explorer, so Getwin probably will be able to use such a title of discoverer of the such and such species.
Can you still name things in Latin now?
Probably. Do we have a camera?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I've got a little handheld computer.
We got a guy who's basically carrying bots with like millions of cameras on them. So.
Yeah.
You have a camera somewhere.
You're not supposed to name stuff after yourself, and you can make weird Latin sounding names. So like I could call them the like Trialex Carterus.
Oh, I see. I can accept this.
If you actually look into biology, half of it is like made up things that sound sort of Latin-y, and half of it's Greek and half of it's Latin.
Yeah,
Why not try Cassios? Because Cassios is here too, right?
Oh, you guys weren't supposed to know my breakfast cereal.
It's yeah.
Full of bran and ground missing evidence. So
So the alien creatures starts babbling at Mal here for a little bit. The AI sort of translates, saying that they believe that you are the one who can speak their language, and then that must mean that you are a envoy, emissary, ambassador.
I feel sorry for the
AI.
AI.
Does this? I would definitely like to grab him by the arm. And
I
remind him. If
what?
someone asks if you're a god, you should just say yes.
Now, I feel sorry for the AI because it's just learned English or the equivalent of English, and now it's barely learned this language, and now it's having to translate one to the other. I feel sorry for the poor thing.
And getting no
It's a hell of
recognition
a
for it.
job. Yeah.
It's like the
Well, we
AI
are,
is like,
we're doing him a favour.
you think about the AI has just done this massive translation and then another translation. Now it's translating the two together, and all the aliens can go is, hey, that one can talk without moving its mouth.
Well, or rather, when he moves his mouth to speak, one thing comes out, and then spontaneously we can, randomly hear something else. So what? It's crazy.
So, what you guys doing?
Yeah, what do we need to know?
Well, we only came here because we were curious about the building. We didn't actually have a mission to come here, really. So.
We can ask him about the temple. Why is it smaller on the inside?
At some point we'll find out it's actually not small on the inside, but we've just got to see the outside walls. We asked them if they know anything about the giant pillar to the south. That'd be a good one.
I shall ask them. It starts translating. The aliens sort of look at each other, then banter something back. The AI comes back with, they believe it is a center of this land, a primal point. They try to avoid it.
How do we convince one of them to be our fun new traveling companion?
Yeah, I'm bored of Dave or Steve or whatever we called him. Was the AI Dave and this Carcass Norcus clone
Steve.
dude, wasn't he Steve? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm bored of Steve. Steve's boring.
That was
cool
afraid
alien
and crying in the
sidekick.
background.
So are we definitely heading toward the big pillar, because that's like a lift going up, yeah? So that's basically
that's
where
our
we're at.
target.
Is it a good idea for us to let them know that is where we're heading? Because you never know, it might be kind of like, I don't know. Well, they didn't say it was a sacred place. So.
They said they tried to avoid it, not.
Yeah, they just don't want to go.
Yeah.
We just tell them we want to go that direction, and would they have any objections to that, or would they go with us? Because that'd be useful to have if they know nothing in the area, they might be able to translate better than our AI friend. Another 15-minute standoff would be not fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If we encounter more of their kind, it would be useful to have one of their kind already convinced that we're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be useful.
So, what you telling them?
We're letting them know that we're heading to the pillar in the south. They want to know if they would be willing to come with us in that direction.
The AI translates. They speak something back, and you get. They seem hesitant to approach the pillar. They may be describing it as haunted.
Oh, fun.
Hmm.
Maybe asked, can we get any info on this temple? Did they build it? Did they squat here? Is there religion involved?
Yeah, let's ask them about the building. Did they build it? It's a very nice building, you know. Nice and shiny stuff inside. Did you make this? It's well built.
Right. The AI starts translating. It cuts back with, they are not the original constructors. Some number of generations ago, it appears, that it was constructed by their ancestors. The purpose is to please the beings of spiritual nature. I'm going to say everyone, maybe at this point, that especially those who have looked at the strange scroll inside, to give me an intelligence roll.
I'm doing. Yeah.
Well, I did run a translation on that, so that'll be me as well. Boop. Just passed
I
on
passed
intelligence.
by 3 even with my very average intelligence.
Passed by 5 with my good intelligence.
All right,
I broke even on it, so.
So looks like enough people are figuring this out. I think Melisandre fails. Not by much, but yeah, she does. So that So those who looked at the scroll, did notice that there was some, at least one of the bits of iconography was a bird-like creature,
Oh, an
um, but
angel.
but but you've not seen a single flying creature other than like small insects in this entire environment. So no birds or equivalent.
Ooh.
Spaceship.
Or just people ascending the column. Maybe when you're rising up inside of it, it doesn't look like you're in a room. You know what I mean? It might be like transparent or something, or who knows? Or they just might have legends of winged beings. Who knows?
Or the pillars guarded by big evil bird robots.
It could be evil big bird robots. Yeah, that is also an option.
I'm going to ask them if they're not going to come with us. We're going to travel to that pillar. And is there any dangers we should be aware of on our travels?
Translation comes back with, they speak of some dangers, but I do not have yet the capability of understanding their words.
Okay.
They appear to be concerned about some sort of creatures, perhaps.
What was our time scale? Do we have a particular reason to rush?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Maybe we should see if we can go back with them, find out more about their village and whatnot. This is like the first aliens that people have met in thousands of years. See if they'll take us back with them. We could rest up, see what they're up to, and then go to the pillar later.
Yeah, check out their houses and what their social structure's like. Yeah.
It could be worth doing.
Everybody else happy with that?
Cash?
Okay.
If that's important for us, yeah.
The grizzled cop is like, he's alien.
I'm a pal,
Melisandre, as usual, seems kind of ambivalent. She's a little weirded out by this whole situation, but she's also trying to act cool. Curious about what's going on, but is kind of scared out of his mind here. So are you gonna ask them to take you to the village, or are you gonna?
Yeah, we kind of agreed that we did. We said we're not
I
in a
mean,
rush. And
I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't really mind. I understand this is a really important event, so although I'm not personally interested, I'm like, okay, it's cool.
You might go down the history books. Are you going to say that out loud?
Back alive.
The Lost Expedition.
History is written by the victors, but also the living.
Yes.
I mean, technically, if we don't blow up the planet on the star, we can always come back and chat to them anyway. So.
Well, they probably. It seems like this place lasted through the last.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was deep underground.
But that's before. But that's before humans got involved. And we have a very nasty habit of doing stuff.
Anyway, let's go to the alien village.
So we'll go ahead and say that you can translate like take us to your home, and they're like okay. But they seem as they sort of motion for you guys to sort of exit the temple. They seem quite keen on sort of generally surrounding you, but they're not trying to be menacing at the same time. Sort of like we're going to kind of keep an eye on you because you guys are weird.
Alright. How did they feel about seeing Melisandre and the robotic mule?
And the floating cat.
So they as they sort of one by one start seeing these, they are kind of mystified and curious, but they're not quite ready to start trying to poke and prod things yet. Melisandre looks the most, I guess, intimidating to them in general. but they seem to be the most freaked out by the mule.
Well, the hover cart as well is also pretty freaky, I guess, because it literally flies.
Well, you maybe get the impression at this point that they think you guys are magical, so
Yeah.
that's maybe less difficult to explain.
Well, they've got 3 legs. They started seeing 2 legs, and now we got a thing with 4 legs. They must
And
be
to
really
move on.
confused.
And the cart that has no legs. It's just like,
Nothing has the number of legs they want.
yeah, exactly. They want 3 legs, no more, no less.
So, unless there's objection, I'll temporarily move you guys over to the Lost World map here.
Can I have a quick sort of 5-minute bio break?
Go ahead.
Sounds like an acceptable time to do such things, I suppose.
Alright, I'll grab a coffee quick then.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I'll go ahead and set that up and do that to the map layer, because that's where it should have been. Oof.
At least their hut's in the rough direction we're heading anyway.
Yeah, sort of a general direction, yes.
Kind of interesting. If we'd have gone the other way, would you have had the hut over there as well?
I would have had you guys encounter something else.
Ah, okay. You just have a hut in every direction.
There's pros and cons to going to both directions, and this is the way to go if you were going to run into the weird aliens here. So,
I mean, to be fair, in general nature, a forest area is more likely to have less aggressive animals than a plains area would do. Not by much, but it's like usually plain areas where there's a lot of grass and open areas tend to have like lions and tigers and stuff, whereas treed areas tend to have monkeys and spiders.
So, you might still run into spiders, but But you're unlikely to be mauled by a giant tiger here. So, tiger with 6 legs.
I think you say that, but at least 3 times I've had to move a cat off my table during this session.
Kitty loves you.
He goes, "Oh, you're talking to the computer. You must be recording or live streaming. I am going to come to you, and I am going to get myself a treat and be put on the camera, and people will say I'm pretty, and then I can get more food."
No, I was back.
Welcome back. So, Malik and Van are still out.
Oh, I see huts.
Mm-hmm. So, I will say that the reason you did see that, the huts over there is because they're actually not that big, and they're actually kind of in a little valley. So, they were just not visible from where you were before. Too much stuff in the way.
Also, there was a giant temple-like building we were more interested in.
Yes, that was much more obvious. So, any thoughts about the big picture here?
Well, they seem to have created a giant survival bunker for their star-doing mist.
Well, some kind of basically like a life pod. Basically, you keep the planet's gonna die. You build everything underground, keep it all safe and secure, like you would do if you were moving a colony ship. Put a bit of everything in, like an ark, basically. So I would suggest that the aliens on the surface who built the star laser knew there was a high chance of failure.
Seems reasonable.
Because otherwise, I mean, take us for example on our planet. We know global warming climate change is going to be a big issue, and we're taking zero preparations towards it because we don't believe it's going to happen that much. So in this case, they must have had such a risk factor of it going to fail that they built an entire underground structure to preserve a variety of life.
And they clearly had enough time to build a rather extensive, sort of biosphere sort of situation here.
I mean, just
with
excavating
appropriate
this wouldn't
infrastructure.
be a 5-minute job, so.
Yeah. And what more infrastructure that's lasted for quite a long time.
Not to mention the actual pressure pushing down on it from the structures in the land above. The actual facility itself is extremely well built. I doubt those robots can come down and maintain this area because robots and mud tend not to go too well.
Welcome back.
So we're heading toward the village. I'm going to keep a close eye on my weapons and make sure things are secured, that they don't mess with things on the hover cart. I mean, I think, I'll have to double check, but I think at this tech level, most guns automatically come with like encoded locks. They're like smart guns.
I think, I think your weapon definitely does.
So
also,
it won't work for anyone else.
So, still waiting on Van, but we're discussing a little bit of the sort of the big picture here. So that's it seems it's been suggested that there's a lot of prep has gone into this, and it's like this is quite extensive for a just in case our big plan to save our our situation fails.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
I'll say that again. I'm not sure that I quite understand.
Peter, you had the idea.
Well, I say on the Earth we got that the climate change can definitely do some long-term damage to us, and we could lose the planet if worst case scenario. Sure. And our preparations are virtually none. So the species who built this underground bunker had a laser built to stabilize the star and try and save the planet's atmosphere and everything else. They must have realized it was such a Hail Mary of that laser that they put all the effort into building this underground bunker, like an ark.
Yeah, and either these guys are the ancestors. No, either these are the descendants of the original species, or they're a different species that has evolved. So yeah, I mean, this to preserve life on Earth would be cool technology to have, actually.
I mean, if we're trying to save a planet, you would probably build a spaceship and travel to another planet that's safe, but that requires interstellar travel. And building something like this in space would be so much harder than building it underground. So it suggests that they're building some kind of ark.
So I will also add in some other details just in case you've gotten that there is not many planets in the star system. And in fact, the star is actually quite hot and bright, and this is planet's actually fairly far out. Like it would be in the outer solar system, in our solar system, for instance, as far as its location. The star is just that bright. It's like the habitable zone just much further away. It's like I think it has 3 planets in the system, and this is the only one that's like rocky at all. The other ones are like gas giants. Actually, a gas giant and maybe like an ice moon or something like that sort of thing.
So basically, if they wanted to evacuate and leave, then there isn't anywhere better in this solar system to go. They'd have to go further afield.
Yeah. So
or
they would
just
need
not at all.
Yeah. So they either need interstellar travel, or they're not going to be landing on a planet, they'd be in space forever.
Indeed. And so and since it's already been well established that they lacked hyperspace capabilities, they might have been close technologically, but they were not quite there. That the Norcus and Benson collective figured that they were pretty much trapped in the solar system.
Yeah, well, we know they had superhadrons, have superhadrons around, which is a fuel that is used on high tech, usually for reactors of engines and whatnot. But obviously, we haven't seen any evidence of anything that can fly or in the atmosphere yet. So, and no spaceships or anything. So,
you've been to an airport, but that's about it.
Yeah, but we've not seen any like rocket facilities. We've seen the only thing we've seen with space related is a giant laser. So, there's no evidence of a space program so far. Although to say that, if you were to land in the UK and look around, you won't find evidence of a space program either. So,
true.
Oh, Van, you back yet?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, so let's get back to rolling here. So I wanted to make sure everyone was here when I did a little bit more revealing, as you guys are, slowly progressing with your alien buddies. You guys get to about a hill here, and someone, I don't really care who, can look off this general direction and see that there's some sort of like desert territory over here, like a much drier sort of section. And beyond it is actually what seems to be a tunnel that goes way off in the distance that you can't see the end of.
Okie dokie.
Hint, hint, this might connect to other sort of biosphere places like this.
There might be hundreds, if not thousands, of these things around.
Yes, because there's definitely enough, life here to sustain itself, but also apparently enough to, allow an intelligent being to sort of persist here or exist or evolve here. But, so let's go ahead and move you into the village set. And here we are. You guys coming in with your escorts. You find yourself in a village situation.
Cool.
The leader goes forward and starts saying something to the other, aliens here, and some of them come out. You see one that's, some that are of more yellowish color. They seem slightly different sort of, form to them, but they seem otherwise quite similar.
Gender dysmorphia, I suppose.
Yeah, perhaps. Alternatively, that's their kids. You never know.
Could be that as well. Yeah.
They're but they are about the same size. So, there is what appears to be a large fire pit, sort of in this general area. A number of huts, various places, and as you get closer, you can also see what looks to be a big grate, just sort of in the ground.
That seems to stand out a little bit based on the fact that they make huts, and they've already admitted that the temples were built by somebody else, their predecessors. They've got just a random large grate in the village.
Probably part of the structure of the biosphere.
Maybe. Okay.
So
all right, make sure to thank them for showing us here in their hospitality.
So they kind of fan out a bit, motion for you guys to come closer. The lead guy comes over here and turns around and starts babbling about some stuff. The AI says, I believe they're welcoming you to their village. Mighty spirits?
Well, they think we're spirits. This works, I suppose. One hopes that they feel that we're spirits that are good and need to be appeased rather than spirits that needs to be exorcised at death.
So we get to a man who would be king scenario.
I mean, let's face it, even if we did decide to take over the place, we could, and what would be the point?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think that they actually have anything to fear from us, really.
Yeah, but they don't know that's the problem.
True.
But if you guys reveal them to the world, you might send a plague upon them called a bunch of anthropologists.
Oh God.
Yeah, that'll do it. Because remember, they can't fear us that much. They brought us to their homes. You wouldn't bring a completely unknown alien species that you were extremely nervous about back to your village. You take them to the middle of nowhere and talk to them there.
Yeah, this is true, I suppose.
Yeah, they seem to like us fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might be nervous about us, but they're not hostile. And again, they wouldn't have brought us to their homes if they were worried about us. So.
All right. So you're meeting more of the crew here. I think a second reaction, and I think since Mal, you're the one who's been sort of most direct in communications recently. You get to roll it.
Yay.
Once again, neutral. So they seem like, well, okay.
This works.
So what are we wanting to get from here? Do you have any questions we're going to ask them, or things we want to check? Because it's not exactly a direct objective, it's more a curiosity we're here.
Well, I do have some things that may happen, but it kind of depends on you guys.
Well, they probably know a little bit about the things around here. Like, are they the only tribe here? How big is this thing? What's this? Why did they build their village next to this grate?
Actually, the grate is a good question. Let's ask them about that first.
So you ask about the grate. The AI says, I do not properly know the term for grate in their language, but I will attempt. And there's some communication, and the AI comes back with another lightning strike. With a, I believe they are settled here for the use of that grate. I used a term similar to collection of holes. I hope that translated properly.
Seems legit.
Good enough description. So they use it. What is it? So is it a drain or is it a corridor? Service tunnel?
Are you asking for this, or?
Yeah, they said they use the facility for to use it. So I mean, the AI would ideally know what the grate would be, but I think they said the AI has no control.
So you're asking the AI then?
Initially, yes, because if the AI, I'm hoping will have at least an idea of what this grate would link to.
The grate most likely leads to the lower biospheres.
That confirms more biospheres then.
Wow.
There are several layers.
It's the sewer mutants.
Well, if they've settled here to use the grate, that suggests that this particular tribe species moved between the different biospheres then.
Yeah, but I'll say that from your knowledge, that that seems reasonable. Your general vibe is that these guys are probably semi-nomadic.
Ah, so they're just traveling between. I wonder if the seasons change.
Or it's a food supply issue. But
Maybe
yes.
they just haven't got farming yet.
I'm also going to say that it is getting rather warm at this point.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. So Alex is like, whatever. Everyone else is getting a little more toasty, like the last hour or so here. You can keep on your cold weather gear if you like, but other, I'm going to assume you probably put it on the cart at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like this suit was like absolutely best fucking 10,000 space dollars I ever spent. Because its range of temperatures like minus hundreds of degrees to plus hundreds of degrees. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay in here, I think.
So as you guys are, sort of considering this in your options, one of the aliens comes up to Cash actually, because he seems interesting, and it's going to start babbling at you.
Mm-hmm.
And the tablet
Yep.
AI says,
the
what's
creature
happening?
appears. There's a one of the aliens has come up to you. You're giving me a little bit of static on my end.
There we go. I can hear you again.
Okay. Yeah, you still got some weird distortion, but I can probably manage. So there's an alien in front of you. It's babbling at you. The AI is trying to consider its words to figure out what's meaning. Do you do anything right away?
I am married. Charles and Di at the cathedral. Spoken for.
When the walls fell.
Yes, good reference.
You're like my favorite person. You've made a BoJack reference and a Next Gen reference in one episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the BoJack reference. God damn it.
It's about celebrities and what do they know? Do they know things?
Let's find out.
Is the computer having any luck with the language?
The AI comes back with, it seems to be curious about you in particular. You seem to be the most reserved of everyone, other than the big scary robot. That's not the term it's using, but that's the one I'm feeling it in. I think the term from Alejandra is much more insulting.
Wow, rude. Kill it.
Is this a situation that brandishing a gun will solve? I don't know. Let it know that I'm married. There we are.
The the AI pad there translates something over, and the alien seems flustered, and actually actively scampers off and goes to hang out by this yellow one over here.
Hello. You just caused a domestic, you know.
And it turns to the yellow white and starts saying something. So,
no consequences.
So the leader seems to address Mal again, and the AI translates that it appears to be inviting us to meet for a meal.
Cool.
Excellent. Great way to make friends.
Are we
down
sure
for it.
this said for and not be?
We should be fine. Well,
Send-
yeah,
send-
maybe.
Wait, can we offer the clone up as a tribute? I mean, what?
Rude.
Yes. I say if they're going to go for a meal, we do it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I won't eat because, you know, I'm not taking my hat. If I've got this kind of thing about, I really don't, yeah.
Don't want
you
to
know,
breathe dirty alien air.
Filthy, nasty, dirty alien air. Full of, I'll get alienitis or something, or alien cooties, or, I don't know. I don't want any of that shit.
Hello, alien cuties. Are you gonna kill me?
Possibly.
Yeah, it's like 100 ways for any of us to die before we get out of here. So at the very least, he's a control group.
So if you give me a moment, guys, my sound seems to be freaking out a little bit. I'm not sure if it's on my end or your or Discord or something here. I'm gonna try something real quick.
Okay.
All right.
And say something for me.
Hello. How you doing?
Alright,
You doing all right? I'm doing all right. Do you know stuff? Let's find out.
All right, I didn't quite clear it up. I was hoping it was just my earbuds being stupid. Does not appear to be the case. So, well, we'll keep going for a little bit longer, at the very least. So, it finishes the invitation and it says a few more words that translate, and it's like, a great honor to have you guys here. We are blessed by having spirits here. Though we do not know if you are good spirits or evil spirits, we still feel obligated to be to be good hosts. Is what it sort of translates out to.
Oh, I like this religion.
That's fine.
Yeah.
In other words, they don't know what to make of you guys yet, so they're not sure if they should be fighting you or being nice to you, and they're going to be kind of erring on the let's be nice to you side, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you had a potentially hostile spirit, you'd probably want to keep it on your side at least for now.
Yes.
If you're all happy to stay, I say we accept your invitation for a meal. It's and we mean you no harm.
They seem okay with this, and so they're going to start, as a group, they're going to start running around between the various, and they start sort of collecting things and getting out some simple sort of, dishware of various sorts. It's all like carved stone and some sort of clay stuff occasionally. That's the nice stuff, by the way. And a few leaf plates, of course.
Of course.
And one of them draws up from one of the huts what appears to be a large sort of pot of some sort that has several holes in the top, and it brings it over to the big fire pit, and then as another one is already well on its way to getting some a fire going. So there starts to be a bit of a fire going, and they put a big metal, or not a metal plate, a big stone sort of rock over top the central part of the fire, and then open up the top of the big pot thing, and then pour out a whole mess of bugs.
Nice, you guys enjoy it.
So did America take over, and now we're all not okay with eating bugs?
That's completely up to you guys. But I do know at least one of you guys is squeamish.
Yes, we are. I suggest we would have actually passed the dishes across to Alec and say, it's impolite not to accept food from your guests. I think it helps.
I don't need to eat.
Earlier, still alive. I'm down with it. I've got cultural adaptability of all things.
This is going to be interesting to see how the squeamish goes with this big pile of bugs. See, now if they're doing fried, that'd be no problem, because they're like crispy stuff, but it's like a soup. It's like, ugh.
They might be making like weird pancakes or something, but yeah, it sounds like they're kind of roasting them on a rock.
So, I'm going to try restarting a Discord real quick to see if it helps my sound issues.
Okay.
Right.
In there.
I've eaten bugs in soup. It's pretty good.
No, I'd like to eat some proper bugs at some point. Proper culinary bugs, not just random bugs that I find in the street.
Sort of fried is not too bad. Because they dry out and they get like a jerky sort of taste sometimes. But things in like liquids can be a bit gross sometimes.
Well, I had this thing that was cooked silkworm pupae in a Korean soup.
Oh, nice. That does actually sound good, because, why not? Bit crunchy, maybe.
Yeah, it was pretty good. They had that flavor that you get from bugs. But
I have no idea what that is, and
it's very similar to like if you've had like dried shrimp paste or dried shrimp powder. It's kind of similar to that.
Must be the chitin kind of just
Yeah, probably that.
So you guys still got a lot of weird staticky business going on here, but we'll probably call the session pretty soon anyway. So.
Alright.
Okay. Is it getting dark at all? Because obviously they're lighting the fire to cook with, but I don't know how long the days are around here and how long we've been wandering around.
The lights seem to be quite bright at this point, and they do not seem to be dimming at all.
Cool. Okay.
All right, now we're back. Let's do that squeamish roller run, shall we? To see how that how that soup and whatever it is going to deal with us. Where's my squeamish on here?
Squeamish. This quite often 12 as your control roll.
12, yeah. Yep, 12. So hey, I don't vomit looking at it now. Excellent.
You're sort of like, ugh, but you're not going to be like freaking out. And they start cooking up the bugs, and the bugs seem to be they appear to be alive when they are put on the rock, but they're pretty quickly not going to be alive, especially after it heats up. They also seem to be, I guess, lethargic, like maybe that they were soaking in something in the pot to sort of help reduce their activity.
Oh, alcohol gut-loaded insects.
Surprise, you can get your booze after all.
Yay! No, actually, no. That means taking off the helmet. I'm not going to breach the bio suit, no.
It doesn't have a port that you can pour food in?
I suspect probably not. Because it doesn't need it. Because it just, for 6 weeks, it just recycles everything.
It has to be refilled afterwards, all right?
But I assume so. I mean, I'm guessing it just eventually it can't recycle everything.
I'm assuming you don't just buy a new suit.
No. I imagine that it's just that it doesn't have any internal supply. Well, it has some internal supplies, but it's a case of it's just recycling what's coming out of me back into me using a combination of sunlight and internal batteries. It uses C cells, I think. So I guess after that amount of time, I would just have to leave the suit, like have a day or a two eating and drinking normal food to get it cycled out my system, and then I could probably go back into it for another 6 weeks.
Just remember to clean your filter.
Oh god, yeah. Well, the thing is, I think it's self-cleaning. It's quite advanced. It's really cool. Stay in it. I love it. It's got moderate armor. Got the trench coat. I'm feeling confident.
How are you smoking in there?
I'm not. I've never actually. During this time, I haven't actually smoked while I've got the suit on.
Ah, you're probably grumpy.
It's actually
Probably
just
am a
cigarettes
little bit
attached to the.
grumpy.
It's just
Maybe
the
it's
attached to
just
the suit,
habitual.
it's exhaust.
I
Put
think
a
the
little
last
bit of
time you
tobacco.
were you out of the suit when you guys used the oxygen tent?
Probably.
Right,
I would have
so
been
that's
out.
all
If I went into if I went into the survival module, I would have got out of the suit. Yeah, not sleeping in it if I can help it.
Anyway, I'm tucking in.
Well, we'll say
I
sort
should
of
have
the
gone
end of
all British and like had a tea kit or something.
this.
So
Next time
slipped a little
you're-
teapot onto the fire while they were cooking.
Yeah, I should just have a little travel teapot for the posh camping.
If there's any issues with any of them trying to offering me food and or querying why I'm not eating, I will literally turn around and say, I am a kind of spirit that does not and cannot eat. But please, I appreciate the offer.
All right. We'll give one more roll for today's session then. Everyone give me a alien table etiquette roll.
What's that based? What's that based on? If you don't have that skill.
Is
Can I
there,
use
is
we're
there
gonna say
like a way I
the
can
base-
use savoir faire for that?
acting? Can I use acting or something?
So I will say that, given that you are explicitly attempting not to eat, you can use acting. And Gepwin, I'll say that you can use savoir faire. Otherwise, it's going to be an intelligence roll at -2.
Aha.
Failed.
I got to take off the -2.
Failed by 3.
Ooh, made it by 4.
Yeah, I did all right.
All right. Melisandre is going to fail. And Mr. Clone Guy is actually, I'm going to say he's maybe helped you guys sort of through some of the more, bits that maybe aren't so obvious. But I'm going to say overall, you guys do not offend, but they still, you get the general impression as far as conversations go, that you're more overhearing as opposed to interacting with them directly. That they think that you're terrible table guests, but they don't want to piss you off. And that they maybe think that this is like a test of their patience sort of thing.
Wow. Well, tough shit.
But, the food is actually well prepared, and they offer you some. And, if you guys want to have a bit of a meal with it, this will, definitely count with it. Melisandre eats a little, but not a whole lot since she had her, robot energy bar earlier. Mr. Clone Guy, he'll happily eat up. In fact, he seems to be really enjoying it. And how about you guys? How are you enjoying the meal?
Oh, protein's good. We were just chewing on sticks all day.
I'm marveling at how judgy these people are for folks with no concept of toilet paper.
They have advanced beyond toilet paper.
I mean, they said they're using the grey.
You
Toilet
see
paper.
3 seashells.
Oh god. Don't swear, otherwise you'll end up spending an awful lot of money.
And Mal, how are you feeling about this this very recently squirmy meal that they're offering up to you?
It is absolutely excellent. Now that it's actually fully cooked, it's not as gross as it looked originally.
All right. Yeah, that definitely helps. All right, so the last thing before we end for today, the leader at some point, once everyone seems to be eating, or those who are eating, and all the other critters here are participating in the meal as well. It stands up and announces, as translated by the AI, that it is time for the great story.
Ooh, stories.
Oh, goody.
And that's where we're going to leave it today.
Cool.
That's probably the video for next session.
Yeah, I haven't quite decided that yet, but it is a possibility.
In the before times, the long, long ago.
Something about tomorrow in Tomorrowland.
Yeah, membrane and reckoning and all sorts of stuff's gonna kick off now. Cool. Yeah, it's good. I've enjoyed this. It's been interesting, and I like the whole cultural alien thing. I'm personally quite interested, even though Alex is not that interested. Yeah, I'm curious. Yes, I kind of just want to get one of them to join us.
Well, when we leave, we have to go through the Simon has to decide whether he wants to make the most anthropologically important discovery of the last 1,000 years, or not risk colonizing a new species.
I mean, it depends on, I suppose, who finds out. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. I don't know how, non-interference and stuff laws exist. There's too many conflicting and competing races in the galaxy. There's always going to be one that thinks they can get an upper hand if they're the ones that take over or something. So it's it's going to be a tricky one.
Indeed. So there might be moral dilemmas in our future.
Inevitably.
So, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and do your outros, and so we'll start at the top this time. Malik, who are you, and where can people find you online?
I'm Major Malik. I do video-y, streamy things sometimes on YouTube. I'm sure you can find me as Major Malik. I know that if I don't say that, I know Isaac would have said anyway, so it's kind of I don't mind one way or the other, really. So I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm just enjoying the game. That's why I'm here. I'm here to enjoy this finely crafted adventure that Isaac here has toiled away and is sacrificing his precious time to deliver to us mere mortals.
Yeah, my time's not that important.
Damn it, man! I'm trying to compliment you. Shut up and take it.
All right, Gepwin.
I'm Gepwin. You can find me as Gepwin everywhere. Basically, I do gameplay things on YouTube, and I co-host a podcast with Isaac where we look at classic sci-fi television and not so classic sci-fi movies.
Indeed. I'm Peter30X. You'll find me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I do mostly gameplay stuff, and yeah, it's interesting times, interesting things.
And
Van Velding. I do all kinds of stuff. It all goes to my Twitter at Van Velding.
Yes. I've been taking in your Beige in the Bold recently, and I'm enjoying it. So.
Oh, it's good to hear.
All right. So until next, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll have our great story time next time.